Do you want to lose weight but struggle to stay committed to a meal plan because you constantly feel hungry? Does food provide you comfort when you are bored, angry, lonely, or sad? If so, you are in the right place. My name is Kristen Jones, and I'm a life coach specializing in emotional eating and weight loss, and I'm also a lifelong emotional eater. I want to provide you with information, motivation, and support so you too can learn to manage your issues with food and develop a healthy relationship with yourself. Welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating Podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating Podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week. Today's topic is going to be, what does weight loss coaching look like? And in today's episode, you're going to learn how coaching is so much more than calories and macros, the two main reasons that people hire coaches, and what good coaches provide for their clients. And lastly, you will know if it is time for you to seek out the help of a coach. If you aren't a member of the Breakthrough Emotional Eating Facebook group, please join us and be a part of our community. It is quite an active and really supportive place. So go to www.facebook.com/groups/food-breakthrough and be a part of an incredibly supportive, encouraging, and frankly, life-changing collection of individuals who just are there for each other through emotional eating and weight loss struggles and their successes. It really is a fantastic community, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. So as I do every week, this week I'm going to do a member shout out. I have two members of the group who are just, frankly, absolutely fantastic when it comes to participating and taking the information that is provided in the group and applying it in their own lives and really making some positive steps forward in addressing their issues with emotional eating as well as losing weight. So this week's shout outs go to Julie W. and Jeannie D., and they are both members of the group, and both of them have embraced everything that I have taught recently in the group regarding creating meal plans and assessing each day. And as a result, both have lost weight by simply just incorporating the strategies into their daily lives. Julie just had her birthday and got to also celebrate that and her recent 6-pound weight loss. And Jeannie was able to show off at her son's wedding. She sent me a picture and it was just amazing. She looked fantastic. That was last weekend and is feeling amazing because she started using the strategies and therefore felt lighter and younger as in her role as mother of the groom. And again, she was simply stunning at the wedding. So both of you two, I am so proud and honored to have you in the group, and I so appreciate your involvement and really taking exactly what I would love to have people get out of the group, and that's exactly what I want. So thank you again for being such an integral part of the community. All right, so on to today's topic. So what does weight loss coaching look like? So the first point I want to talk about is how coaching is, in fact, so much more than whether it's counting calories, macros, whatever it is. Coaching is so much more than that. There are very few people who have gotten to at least 30 years in their life and haven't at some point needed to lose a few pounds. And for those of us who are what I can term as professional dieters, we're now finally coming to the conclusion that dieting in the traditional sense just doesn't seem to be a long-term solution. Now, is it a short-term solution? 100%. But when it comes to actually losing weight and then keeping it off, there definitely needs to be an examination of what is really going on inside with your thoughts, your feelings, and your habits, and how those are impacting your weight either in a positive or a negative way. Coaching really looks at a person's entire life, not just what they're eating and how much they're moving their bodies, in order for a coach to be able to assist a person in making the changes that they want to their physical body. The really cool and exciting thing about the coaching industry is the recent realization that many coaches are coming to that there is a huge importance that needs to be placed on mindset. And if there's going to be any kind of lasting change for anyone, the mind is gonna have to be looked at. And so one of the phrases that I absolutely love is if you want to change your life, you first must change your mind first. And that just could not be more true. And I see this in the other work that I do within the fitness industry. So besides having my own business, I also work with fitness professionals for a company called Online Traders Federation, and we assist in-person personal trainers transfer and move their businesses to the online space. And so that is, I then in turn coach these clients and coaches as they are setting up their businesses. And when I started working with the group almost 2 years ago, there were just a handful of coaches that were really including mindset work in their signature programs. And now, I think across the board, every single coach includes some aspect of looking at a client's lifestyle, their sleep habits, their mental and emotional health. And it's really exciting to see that the fitness industry is really taking a more holistic viewpoint of getting their clients healthy. Now, for me as an emotional eating coach, it has always been imperative that I look at my clients and look at all aspects of their lives, because if you are listening to this podcast, you know that eating food has so little to do with the actual food and so much more to do with how you feel about yourself and what's going on inside of you. And it is imperative that these things are dealt with first before really looking at what you're eating. The why has to be looked at first. We have to figure out why we're eating, why we eat when we're not hungry, why we eat and continue to eat even when we're full. Those are things that really have to be looked at and addressed really before you really get down to more of what we would consider the superficial things. We really have to go deep. I really like to teach my clients how to understand how their brain works and how to manage it so they can think, feel, and act in a way that will serve them as they move towards a better and healthier relationship with food. Now, the next point is there are so many people who hire coaches, and so there are so many kinds of different coaches, but there really and truly are just two main reasons why people hire coaches. And the two reasons are motivation and accountability. And I have to be honest, I don't believe that hiring a coach is a good solution if you are lacking motivation. Because honestly, motivation, if you're going to have long-term success or you're going to reach a goal and you're going to keep that goal and keep that habit alive in your life, motivation has to be something that is created inside of you, that comes from within, intrinsic motivation. But most motivation comes from feelings of love and acceptance and dedication to your own self-interest. It has to come from the inside. As I like to say, it has to be an inside job. And that to rely on someone or something outside of yourself, frankly, is just not going to be sustainable. Motivation as it is ebbs and flows. And so you are going to have days where the motivation, the thought that you had the day before about why you wanted to do and continue pursuing whatever it is that you're pursuing, that's going to go, some days it's going to work and some days it's not. And so we really have to know that and understand and really be prepared with kind of an arsenal of different whys and different reasons why we're doing this, so it will carry us through and allow us to be able to really maintain that level of momentum and motivation that we need to continue to work towards our goal. But here's the thing about a good coach. They are able to help a client tap in to that mentioned love, acceptance, and dedication towards themselves, and they can help the client realize things that they have within themselves that oftentimes they didn't even know existed, and that allows the client to be able to create their own motivation within themselves. So a good coach is really able to do that and really able to lift a client in their value of themselves, and that in turn can really drive the motivation. So accountability is absolutely essential for most people to be able to move towards a goal and frankly to eventually reach it. Having that person to ask a question to, that you report progress to or lack of progress, is so important as you strive to grow in a physical and emotional sense. You really need that person that you're going to be looking to. In most cases, some people truthfully don't need that, and that's totally fine. But if you feel like that's something that you would benefit from, then I strongly suggest that you look into something like that. A good coach will work with their clients to discover what will keep them accountable and moving forward. It's never one person driving the bus in a coaching relationship. The two parties absolutely have to work together. And as one of my clients has very succinctly told me, it's a partnership. It is absolutely a partnership, and client and coach have to work together. But there also has to be an understanding that, in fact, the coach is the expertise in that particular area, whatever they're coaching on, and that there does have to be respect for the levels of knowledge and information that is provided from one person to the next. Now, the last thing is, how do you know when it's time that you should look into hiring a coach? And again, coaching can be in a variety of ways, in a variety of areas of your life. It could be, again, fitness. It could be eating. It could be relationships. It could be career. For me personally, it has always been easy to know when it's time for me to seek outside help. And it's always been when I had exhausted all of my own efforts and I realized that I just couldn't make it happen on my own without help. I have never, ever viewed coaching as being a weakness to actually look to somebody to help me. In fact, I've always felt very empowered when I have sought help. And I've sought help in coaching for years and years and years. And actually, currently is the only time that I'm not actually paying a coach to coach one various aspect of my life. I really think it's an incredibly brilliant thing that anyone could do for themselves, and that if you feel like that's something that you need, it's definitely something that you should look into. I personally function so much better when I'm working towards a goal, and when I have someone who not only will hold my feet to the fire, but will also be my biggest cheerleader. I really need that mix of that, a little bit of tough love, but a little bit of warm fuzzy at the same time. I would say for anyone else, you'll know when it's time to hire someone because you will welcome the guidance, the information, and the accountability. And you will want to listen to that person's advice, and you will care enough about yourself to want to make the changes that are suggested. So you'll know because you'll be very receptive to it. Now, another thing about hiring a coach is you always want, if you are thinking about hiring a coach and you think it's time to do that, you absolutely always want to meet the person ahead of time. You want to have an in-person meeting. Now, this recording is happening, towards it's still COVID time. So, I personally would never meet anybody in person right now. But I absolutely, for myself as a coach, I require everyone. I meet everyone on a video call. I do not sign a person on unless we have met via video. I absolutely have to see a person. I have to be able to connect with them. I have to see their facial expressions. I have to just see if there's a fit, if there's a connection. And I think that's really important for those people listening who are the consumer. I think it's really important that you make sure that you have that face-to-face, even if it's on a screen, but that initial connection with somebody, and see how it feels for you and if it's a fit. And I truly believe that you'll know. And it's really important that both sides see the importance of that. Again, it's always important to remember that it is an absolute partnership, and that both people, coach and client, have to be fully invested and have an open communication about what is needed on both sides. And like any other relationship, communication is absolutely the key. So I hope that I've given you some insight as to what it looks like to work with a coach, whether it be a weight loss coach or a life coach or a business coach or a career coach. And you'll be able to now determine if that is part of the next steps in your journey towards reaching whatever your goal is, whether it is getting a new job, whether it's weight loss, whether it's an improved relationship. If you have any questions or you would like to talk about what it looks like to experience working a coach, whether it be myself or any other coach, I would love to share and offer you, anyone who's listening, a free 20-minute mini session where we can discuss things that are going on in your life, a place where you need to be coached, and a circumstance that you need to be coached on, and let me provide you just a sample of what that looks like and what that feels like. And then you can determine if that is something that you would want to pursue moving forward, whether it be with me or anyone else. I think it's really important to see what coaching looks like and how that feels, and whether that's a comfortable it's a comfortable option for you. And I think it's really, really important that you be able to feel comfortable with whomever you're going to be working with. So again, in the show notes, I will leave a link. And if you would like to set up a free 20-minute mini session where we can talk about something that you have going on in your life, and it can be related to emotional eating and weight loss. It can be related to anything. And I'd love to spend some time with you and give you a little sample of what that looks like. So again, as it is every week, thank you so much for joining me. And I appreciate those people who listen to the podcast and come in and join my group from the podcast. It is always so exciting to be able to connect with people who share a common interest and are looking really to improve themselves and improve the quality of their life and the quality of their relationship, not only with food, but of themselves. And I think that's pretty much the key right there, is that relationship with yourself. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next week. Take care.